Good morning, and everything's set up. How is everybody? It's glorious Friday. Where's the music? That's better. All right, now I gotta get my phone set up. There we go. All right, so let's see. Last night, did a couple hours. Actually streamed last night. It's good. This morning, continue on from that. Let's run the test, make sure everything's up to snuff. The tests currently fail when I run them in CI because I don't have the environment set up correctly. Could set that up. We'll see. All of those work. That's good. Integration ran. That's nice. This is the wrong one. I thought this was game server. This is stream multiplexer. Let's switch. That one needs to run this way. All right. Well, that's that. Okay. What did I call it? Oh, I called it link dead. And yeah, it's this integration test. So what's happening here? We have our little test set up. Getting our first message off of there. Why is this one synchronous? Doesn't do anything async. And what we're getting here, and why we have both of these, it won't actually show us the messages unless something actually panics. Oh. There. Hey, Carter, good morning. Good morning. And happy Friday. All right, so what we're getting here, there's a response packet, and it's saying that it's a 2-element array, and it looks like we have two numbers here. We have a number 3 and a number 2. Packet kind 25, interesting. Look at our outgoing packet kinds. Yeah, it's a callback failure. So in this case, we're actually responding, saying, hey, all your stuff's broken. I don't know, we're just saying that the login failed. So the reason that this is happening is because our database is actually our database connection is trying to use the actual database. We shouldn't be doing that. We want to use some sort of mock database. Now here, we're creating a database, giving it a pool size, metrics, all that. We need to swap this out. Something else that happens to implement database. So, that go. Tests, db mod. And here we have struct basic, and I implemented database for that. Now, if we look at what's going on, we should be able to swap that out, no problem. Let's go ahead and do that, and we'll improve on it. Our database is going to be db, hold on, called it db, that's funny. Just have to be careful which one I import. Mod db. There we go. Not all trait items implemented, missing database connection metrics sender. Interesting. Now what is dbcon in this case? R2D2 pulled connection. So at this point, what do? Do we give it an actual database? I'd prefer not to. Morning, Museum. And thank you for the host. So Museum, now I'm at the point, kind of come full circle. Now we're back to the point of having some sort of database wrapper and being able to abstract away some of these database calls. So if we go back to the test, if I had one of these here, it's created a new database. I'm trying to just create something where I can log in, drop the kind of fake connection. So I don't really need the database here, like a real database. I think it'd be nice to just be able to return certain kinds of responses from this. But currently, our interface requires quite a bit. So if I try to implement some sort of basic database, that really just doesn't do anything except for like return an auth success. It's telling me I need a couple of these. Yes, might need to implement those, but they probably don't have to do anything. Might even be able to be unimplemented. Well, metric sender, we can return dev for that. All right. Trait functions cannot be declared async. Wait. Ah. Yes, I did have async on here. Yeah, it does suggest it. Oops, I keep swapping to the wrong window. I think I had actually removed this from this crate, so let's go back and add it. It's not there. Let's add it here. And what is dbcon? Oh, cool. This is the first time you're using it. Oh, that's funny. I was actually thinking about what I was going to do with it last night. There's some things that are, of course, there's like, oh, I want to see your Vim files. I want to see these different links. What's your setup? All those like kind of frequently asked questions. But I'd really like to make it part of the game as the game is kind of grown up in Twitch. Seems kind of fitting. Oh, you can clone the control and writer and it just works. Huh, that's nice. That's really nice. Writers on the control. All right. Let's change that to test DB. Close all of those. Get to move. I actually need both of those crates, and there was a name clash. And oh, you can just store that. No generics needed. Well, that's cool. Oh, oh, very nice. Sync encoder, MPSC writer. Oh, you did it without boxing. How'd you do that without boxing? Just another struct or something? Just wrapped it up? Code. Oh, interesting. That is nice. Nomad, good morning. I wonder if those out there. That's good. Partially equal. No, we don't need that either. We use the Tokyo mock stuff with it. Huh. Actually, that's the first time I've heard of the Tokyo test AO mock stuff. Can you... Oh, nice. Oops, wrong one again. There we go. Yes, basic is private. Oh, mock is the thing that lets you sequence read writes waits. Oh, nice. Okay, I might actually need that in a moment. Little panic if things aren't done in the order that you say. That is handy. That's cool. Oh, you added the rate limiter back in. Man, my voice is just going left and right today. Oh, and Nomad, thank you for the follow. With rate limit, your rate limiter. That's cool. Huh. Does it know Twitch rules? Running tests. What does it mean by this? Auth linked character linked. What is it talking about? Running 2 tests. Oh, here's character linked and auth linked. Got it. That's what it's talking about. Interesting that it has the thread named that way. Yeah, that thread name I think is just strange. Because it's the name of the 2 tests. Alright, well, some of these environment things should be quick to set up. Oh, you don't run tests with backtrace on. I usually only ever do that if I'm running, there's some sort of script that has it in there and I've forgotten about it, or if I need to figure out which unwrap failed on me. wonder what the CWD is for this. Is it going to be that integration, that test directory? So, yeah, I am so glad. That is like the biggest difference. I think that release, well, okay, the two things I think I'm going to be using most are the rest operator with the slices, and most of all, where which unwrap failed in my unit tests. Let's see what we use, manifest path. Yeah, it's an amazing feature. Alright, so if that's the case, this will be... Actually, I want to see what's it going to say about that. It should say... Actually, I'd rather just hard code this for the tests. Oh, sure. Class, good morning. Just toss this up here. Get rid of this space. Oh, I see. There it is. This is support wrapping things in pairs. Oh, there it is. There's the environment line. So what am I running over there? I'm running TW, aren't I? Cargo WT. Look at the .cargo config for WT. That runs ST. ST doesn't do that. Okay. Just short with no capture. Oh, it's panicking now at set logger error. Okay, I get the path not found. Linked at 25. Yeah, so this here is going to be test / that file. To make that, let's copy that from our original. Oh, thank you. Select a line. Pause for a moment before hitting double quote. Watch it overwrite the line with quote. Oh, it has a test constructor. Huh. That's neat. Actually, I'm gonna go find that. What was that? Oh, you found it. Copy link address. Oh, nice. Now, the reason I'm doing this is really for the Tokyo stuff. Tokyo and MIO. If I don't have that, that was a problem before because I've switched to using the tracers for everything else. I had not been capturing that anymore. Totally not a spam bot. Good morning. Oh, the browser. Thank you. We'll toss that in there. Get rid of the fix me. Oh. Oh, that way you can do filters in it? Good idea. Actually, let me change that in main also. There. Okay. Now for this basic DB thing. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. And 25. Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder how they signal. Hmm. Alright, so what's this error? I panicked at this. Setting that failed, I get that. Oh, it's because it's running both of them. Test foo, test this. Auth link that is okay. And character link that it already initialized that. And I'm probably calling the same setup in both of them. Let's see. So what does tracing subscriber have for that? Set global default. Just not unwrap. True. Very true. Alright. Back to the code. Hey, look at that. Okay. We're sending message in. Character linked at, panicked at, not implemented. Nice. Let's get mod 16. Oops. Yes. So here we're trying to get the database connection. And I'd prefer just to leave that unimplemented and fill in the gap of whatever's actually trying to call this. I think what's happening here is, how do I explain this? Let's go back and look at this trait. Huh. One cell will be placed into this next. That's cool. It's not important, but if... Got it. That's pretty cool. So I think what's happening here is that somebody's calling this async function account. And we're supposed to return something of that looks like this, a DB account. Problem is that this struct here, I don't know how to override some of that functionality at the moment. I could definitely implement this function if I go back over to this and we implement this trait here. Now we have this function. We're going to bail out a little earlier. Interesting, DB. Is that private? I think that's private. Obstruct. What's in DB? Oh, funny. That's private. Yeah. I can delegate to the real one. The methods you want to override. You add your own impulse. Okay. Let's try that out then. So this here is a DB account, yada yada. So private, why does it say it's private? Obstruct. Tuple struct constructor account is private. What do you mean make a super trait? With the same function name and then use self super. Ah, I see. Yeah, this is the part where Museum goes quiet for about 30 seconds and then sends us a link. Kidding, of course, but I was saying that that constructor is private, but it doesn't look private. Oh, because it's pub super. These elements here are just pub super. Oh, I see. See, I think my first sort of inclination would be to kind of abstract this out here, the return type here, either by providing some other interface for this, creating some sort of trait that both of those then implement. Let's see, what would happen though if I created something like that? That wasn't very long at all, Museum. Alright, so what's going on here? We have trait foo, we have trait bar, which extends foo. Struct A. Pull foo for A and pull bar for A. I see, in this case, foo would be the existing DB database call. And bar would be our override of it. Oh, interesting. A is bar. That's a foo. Do I have to do A as bar? Or how will it know which of the foos I really want? Because I'm going to be passing this to code that doesn't know what kind it is. I mean, the code is expecting it to be a foo. All the other code in the server is expecting it to be a foo. To cast it to the super trait. Yeah. Let's go to the code. I want to see where that wires in. I keep hitting a blank screen on that transition. All right, let's see how that would fit in here. So we go back to LinkedIn. Let's say here, basic is basically a bar. Rocking out, good morning. And then legacy, when we call legacy run, it expects database to be of a certain kind here. And database DB, where DB is a foo in this case. Is it going to know that I really wanted to call the bar functions and not the foo functions on this? I get that both of them will be, that it will be a foo and a bar. Well, not in there now? Oh, drat. Okay, because here's where we want the overrides to work. That's a really neat technique though. I want to be able to pass something to this call here that has slightly different behavior than then a database thing with a real database behind it. So how else will we do that? I see, in the test structs types, you can use the super trait. Yeah, I'm building this to pass it straight into here though. Or maybe I'm not seeing what, there's a link I'm not getting. Here, let me think about that. And only of the specific methods, the super trait one's overridden. I see, so in this case, I think what you're saying, that here in basic, I don't have to call this, I can return, well, something else in this case. Because something else inside of that server run call is going to call this. You're saying I have control of these lines inside of this function, so I can basically do whatever I want at this point. Let's see, so in this case, how would I do this? I basically want to override the database account element that's being returned. Either that, or we go through and change some of these, the way that database stuff works in the server. Because what's going to happen is that the server code is going to call and say, hey, give me the account object, and database account knows how to go and do a bunch of stuff. This is implemented somewhere else. And if we go and look at db account, inside of here we impl that. Where is it? Okay, so impl db account, and we have insert, get, etc. It almost seems as though we want to have the return type of this be a little bit more generic. Actually, the type that's going to be the problem is this one here. So these functions here, I think it's this one specifically that I want to be able to override, the get function on 53. So if we work backwards from this function, okay, this is db account and db account get. A db account get does the database call that looks up the account in the database. Why can't I call db account get in the test? It doesn't have a database to connect to. I could give it a mockdb. That's very true. And I'm really close to doing that. I really hadn't decided, and I think I was just thinking this was kind of the most controlled way to do this. Because the other way seems like it's going to be a lot more work, but let's play around with that. So if we come back to LinkedIn, we could be giving it some sort of mock database. Right? Have different databases or whatnot for certain tests. It does mean that for each of these tests, I'm going to be setting up the database, inserting just a few records, and then tearing it down. I guess that's okay. Yeah, and then it does end up going kind of end to end with this. It does make sure that we get all of the code tested. Which is, I think, why we built this out this way in the first place, was so that we could actually just use a mock database. For this case, I don't think I will, but very soon, as soon as you start getting into the game, I could imagine it starts to like create accounts, and like there's some other tests that we're going to want to do that will be mutating the database. Just keep the test one around. Yeah. That's very true. Should probably do this with just a mock database. Oh yeah, that won't be that tough. It just means that I need to integrate kind of external things with this code. It's kind of one of the pain points of my current setup, that if I want to run the tests, I'm basically doing this where I set it up, reset it, and do something. I wonder if there's a better way to do that stuff. I was looking the other day, I'm still in the back of my mind, I've got that migration away from diesel in my head. And barrel showed up. Where's barrel? Docs.rs. Oh, that's white. Do they have dark mode yet? And this seemed interesting. And if I had something that I could use with this, I could just have the tests create and drop their databases on them, like in code, and do it per test. SQLX is pretty neat. Yeah, I was actually thinking of using SQLX. That or Tokyo Postgres. Does SQLX have the kind of pipelining? Or we're gonna back to beware white screen coming. So one thing that Tokyo Postgres does, if we, yeah, another white screen, sorry. So Tokyo Postgres does this neat thing where you can basically do pipelined queries. You say, I need these 3 things, go get them for me, and it returns them in order. Yeah, here's our section on pipelining. Pipeline, let's see, the client supports pipeline requests. Pipelining can improve performance in the case in which multiple independent queries need to be executed. So if you know that certain things are going to be needed, you can just ask for them right away, instead of having to wait for the first, second, and third. It just kind of removes the dead space. I guess I could do that with the SQLX stuff, but we're going to go back to SQLX. Query as, query file as. Yeah, I'm not sure that SQLX does that. I could see that actually giving a bit of a performance boost, because you basically get rid of the dead time between queries. It was really, really handy. It's kind of like going to, HTTP 2, right, where the server can just say, oh, you need all of this data. Don't bother asking. Anyhow, we got on this because we were talking about. I didn't see anything like that either, and it looks like it would be substantial. That sort of dead time between asks could be really, really beneficial to clean that up. Oh, I see. And one of the reasons I had never switched away from Diesel is because I have all of my migration stuff in Diesel. One of the reasons I like Diesel is it manages all that. And the guy at work wanted to play around with Rust with async await due to my constant pressuring him. And so, which is great. I am so glad we are actually getting a little bit of Rust traction at work. So I'm thinking about, like, how do I actually move away from the migration stuff? And Barrel seems to be a good contender for that. No, I've never used Barrel, but it looks like you can have migrations in code. So that's a possibility. Does it support SQLite? That's a good question. Oops, sorry for the white screen. Backend. It does support SQLite. I'll try it out then. That's cool. But yeah, I could absolutely see using this in order to do the, like having each of these have their own database. Because I really don't want to deal with tests clobbering each other because they have shared data. I'd rather have each one of these have their own sort of DB setup and all that. And if I could use something that's common like that, oh man, that'd be great. And if it's in code, I don't have to worry about running a shell script in order to make sure that the database is set up right. That's even better. Yeah, just generate a random table name and go from there. It would be awesome. And it'd clean up after itself. I could definitely get behind using something like Barrel for that. Create new migration, create table users, etc., etc. Does it use async await? Well, Barrel would just be for migrations, which I wouldn't expect that you have the performance need in order to for async await. Have a test table structure, which yeah. Create table not exist. Yeah, all of this seems like it'd be really nice. Same as make, but making a runtime check for SQL variant. One thing that I'm not sure about on this is I'm gonna just rerun the migrations. Does it truly understand like up, down? Does it have, it's sort of like a management table, that sort of thing? So I really want to try it out. I just haven't yet. And it might be kind of a prerequisite for getting all the integration tests working. Owns plushy sharks. Types Boolean. Oh, they have, you found a guide. Oh, thank you. Should not be considered stable. Oh, it's been a year since this. Oh, barrel migrations. You're kidding, wow. Wow, that's cool. Diesel migration run. Well, that's neat. All right. Let's see if that still exists. I wonder if I did something else with cargo. Did I need any? There was something else that I did. I wanted features, barrel migration, and oh, there was one other thing. Come back here for a moment and get started. Kind of like this, but I don't have that. Good, so I need to do this. Oh yes, what features? When I do this? Let's see. It's interesting that this might actually build a nice sort of bridge in moving away from diesel. Vec map? Oh, where do you see that? Oh, you can use diesel CLI with barrel. Interesting. Oh, I see, I see. A hash map backed by a vector. Oh, that is cool. I see. So basically this means that I could use the diesel stuff in order to produce migrations that I would run in code, and that I still wouldn't be tied to using diesel as the database client in the game server. So I can still use a portion of diesel in the diesel CLI stuff. Oh, interesting. Error chain. That's cool. Yeah, I like that. I wonder what it's going to generate though. Oh, error chain's the first attempt at good errors. Because here we do have a lot of diesel stuff. Yeah, all of these migrations. So if we can use diesel basically to create those, some of them are really complicated. So like is it Big Island? Special Islands. That's the wrong one. Oh, it's super ugly to use. Uh-oh. Build failure. Cannot compile barrel. So I have nightly, I think as of yesterday. Is there a way to tell cargo to use nightly? Oh, it doesn't work on stable, really? I didn't get that at all from the documentation. Oh, plus nightly. Okay, thank you. Xenocron, good morning. Man, everyone's here today. I'm looking at the barrel documentation. All right. Yeah, I didn't see anything either. Oh, working remotely for a couple weeks. Yeah, that's going around. I tried to stream last night and the network it seemed rather full. What type of mic am I using? I am using a Jabra headset. A corporate office moved us from actual offices into an open space. And people were very, very concerned. And they said, no, it'll be fine. You can have these headphones. And that was the gift from basically, or rather a bribe to silence us as they shoved us out of our offices. Yeah, that's an old version of Barrel. Oh, that's too bad. Even on their homepage, so the barrel white screen, coming up here, using diesel 120. Not possible to do that. If you've been using barrel to write migrations for diesel before the 050 release. Huh. I mean, it does mention this here, you're going to need to do some migrations. What version of headset is this? This is the, let me take it off and look. I don't see it. No, it's not those. It's the over-ear ones. Not like these. Those are on-ear. One thing I don't like about the headphones is their little app that updates the bio. I was going to call it BioWare. But yeah, it's the ones this dude's wearing here in this. I don't know. Still doesn't look right. No. Probably in this set somewhere. Oh yeah, I have some just for hearing. Yeah, and this has noise cancellation and whatnot. I had been using Crisp, which works on OS X. It cuts out some of the background noise. I didn't really. The headphones I have are not the ones that kind of squish your ear like this. I can't stand these because I wear glasses and I don't like the arm of the glasses to get pressed into my head or into my ear. So, anyhow. Oh, Argo, what feature? I want to see that command run. We'll kill that. Oh, look. Wow. Less than or equal to 020. Oh, goodness. Well, I mean, to me, what it looks like is that this can probably help me convert all of my existing migrations. I'll have to do some syntax updates. Oh, that's right. Oh, wow. How many have they yanked? Oh, just 2. All right, let's. Oh, it's not going to do it over again, is it? Oh, you... Oh, it's actually going very, very quickly. Because it already compiled those using nightly? You know, I think that is absolutely what you want to see in a crate. You want to see kind of good behavior. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all to have on there. It means that you're responsible. Unlike my crate, which I'm just leaving everything out there under the guise of it's highly unstable. Yeah, I think you're just being more responsible than I am. Like people are actually using yours. And nobody actually has a need to use mine. Except for me. Let's go to crates. We look at Twitch chat. What is your... Okay, updated 7 hours ago. Okay. Where's a cool little graph? I want to see the little graph. Holy cow, look at all this documentation. You're getting some traction. Downloads of all time, 6,000. I mean, this is... I could see that changing soon. The entire README is tested. Is that just a normal thing? Will Cargo run the tests in there? Oh, you're using a crate for it. Because I like the way that that looks. I think having the README with the examples in it, it just shows people right away how easy it is to use. Let's copy that link. Yeah, I think that what we're... Oh, what did I do? Getting into here. I think I'm going to use this kind of old version of Barrel inside of the Diesel CLI to create a path to migrate to just using Barrel. Interesting. All right, I am going to copy a link to that. I think I'd rather have stuff inside of the README than lib, because fewer people get the library one than the README one. It's because of how the tooling is. Added as a dev dependency. Cool. All right, that's going in the today I learned. Remove those two features. Ah, I see. That makes sense. Okay. Let's check back here. Feature has been removed. What does this mean? Removed in favor of register tool and register. Oh, they're talking about like the feature in Rust has been removed. Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I'm surprised then that it's still inside of Twitch chat, or in not in Twitch chat. I just went to the browser and Twitch chat's like right in my face there. Like boom. So if we go to Diesel in their repo, so we're already there in this tab. Oh no, not project management. Oh, the markdown syntax is a bit different. Barrel migration is broken. Okay. When it doesn't even compile now. You just rolled it until you got it to work. In doc comments, making compile but not run a test. Rust no run, I see. Yeah, I'll definitely be using your markdown syntax as an example. Well, this is unfortunate. Oh, all the stuff is there. Oh, I see. I guess it kind of does encourage you to, I don't know, to reduce the dependencies, all that. Well, now I'm afraid that if we tell them it's broken, they'll just say, oh, you know what, we're removing that. Do they have a wiki on it in here? I don't see anything. Let's see, where are they using barrel? Wait, what is this? Oh, look at that. Dependencies, barrel, version, optional, feature diesel. Why is it trying to do barrel version 2? Oh, barrel migrations. This is for the CLI. Try installing it from Git. Oh, I see. Oh, we can try. It's got some history. But yeah, that is strange that if we go back to the browser, well, it's doing that. Oh, you can cargo install from a Git repo. Oh, okay. That I didn't know. All right, let's do that. Let me grab the previous command. So we'll need the feature flags. Back in here. Oops. We'll toss down there, and let's see. And it probably wants the. Actually, how do we tell it that we want the CLI? Because this is a bit of a mono repo. Will that just work? Okay. So if we go back, browser, while it's doing that, the diesel CLI bit, why would it be trying to use, where's the cargo file? Apologies. There we go. Because here it wants definitely greater than 5050. Oh, I can pass depth 0 to it. All right, let's try that. Oh, you can't pass. That's too bad. Well, then it might be easier if I just check it out locally. Saying, give me the depth 0. Oh, I see. You have an alias to shallow. So then instead of this, so CLI, we give it a dash dash path. So it's just dot in this case. Cargo. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why is it syncing? All right. What's in here? Just to make sure we don't have another tool chain in there. All right. So the basic idea here is that for whatever reason, it was trying to get to barrel O.2 instead of O5 plus. Say, did it? Yeah, see, it downloaded barrel 065 here. That's so much better. Why in the world would it download the other one when we just try to install it? Seems so weird. Wonder if it's conflicting somehow with like the top level cargo file or something. It's not in there. Yeah, I just checked their top level cargo file. It's just a workspace. Huh. Wonder if it's my environment. Oh, I got that paused. Okay. Oh, I see. All right, that's almost done. So this should then let us do the migration. Still use diesel CLI. Kind of a kludgy way of getting it installed everywhere, though. Guess I'd only ever need to have it installed on a developer's machine, but I'm going to have to document the process of installing it. Well, anything, I think it gives us a pretty good benefit in that it should help us convert all of our existing migrations to something that Barrel could use. Once that's done, then I'll probably switch over to just handcrafting the barrel stuff. I wonder why they're not publishing that change. It's just broken right now if anybody tries to do that stuff. Nobody's reported a bug, so nobody's trying to do it. I could report a bug. Oh. Now, is it saying that barrel is broken? Oh, barrel integrations diesel is broken. Let's see. Well, that's a bummer. I don't want to spend hours migrating those things. Might not actually take hours, but my goodness, how many of those would I have to do? Man, I was a little prolific with the migration scripts. Either that or go and fix the diesel's integration in barrel. All right. I wonder how far off that is. Let's see, what is their repo? Interesting. 2 months ago. So their released version didn't pass? Oh, thank you, Museum. Coffee. Oh, cargo check. Thank you. Oh. Oh, browser. Ah, thank you. Thank you. The patch didn't work. I just replaced their barrel line. Just replace the version with the git info that you had there and the revision. Oh, the top level one? I see. Alright, so it's going pretty well so far. Is it compiling barrel there? Don't see it compiling barrel yet. What's features plural? Oh, of course. Thank you. Let's see, what is that called? Yeah, that's it. Is this a comma separated list or? Okay, same error. Multiple flags, gotcha. Well, it's interesting. I'm a little bit of a crossroads here. I can either check out barrel, see if I can patch it and fix it in order to get the migrations running that I want to use. Or I'm gonna do all this by hand. Oh, interesting. Yeah, where are there two? They're both broken. Okay, let me show you what the other change was. I did that there. I'm guessing that wasn't the best change because you did say I needed to put that in the top level. When you say virtual manifest, is that up here? Or is that in the workspace? Oh, the workspace, okay. Needs PG, a feature. Oh, I see. Let's check it again. PG as a feature should build on master. I mean, it's a feature for barrel, right? So I have to put it here on this line. Hey, Oven. Good morning. Okay, I'm gonna take that back up. Oh, not the cargo log file. Pommel. How about doing OS stuff? There's actually a pretty neat blog out there for if you want to follow along. Somebody's doing um, a set of tutorials on how to build a 64-bit operating system using Rust. It's pretty sweet. But I'm not at that level, so I'm not gonna attempt it. Got it. Okay, so barrel, we have this. Then that also means that we need to toss in the features for this. And in this case, we need PG and diesel, right? Let's go back to the other one. I can replace this one with what it had originally. There we go. Interesting. Oh, cargo update. This is 066. Yes. Yeah, it still didn't do the feature though. Strange. I see. So we are on the correct one, aren't we? Okay, let's undo the top level one. Just for a moment. Do I have to do a clean on this? I think the only thing that was wrong was that it didn't have the feature flag. That's why it didn't build. But now I put the feature flag in there. We're getting, hopefully, a better error. And here's a link for Voven. Actually, let me copy this. Copy, paste. That, and then Amazon just came out with their little, what was it? It was in This Week in Rust, actually. While that's compiling, we take a peek. Go back. One of the latest things. It's a problem in both, I see. Bottle rocket, there it is. So it's a host container, right? It's as a container host. So you basically have your own containers, you put them inside of this, and it's just thinner, right? This is bottle rocket using firecracker. Oh, that's funny. Okay, actually, I've finished that. I'm not sure. But I'm trying to figure out what would you use Bottle Rocket for if you weren't doing stuff on AWS. I guess you could download it locally and use it inside of like Docker or Kubernetes or I guess an alternative to those. It's OCI, LXC stuff instead of Docker. I see. I see. That's pretty cool that they built that in Rust, though. Oh, Podman. Oh, that sounds cool. Podman. OpenShift, Redshift. Interesting. I wonder what OS's Bottle Rocket compiles on. Let's see, they had a link, or do I still have the thing open? Percent Bottle Rocket. No, it's not in there. Oh, there it is. Repo. Linux based. I like that they have a Docker file for it. Huh. All right, so That's there. Come on. Almost there. All right. So we get this working, run the migrations. I wouldn't mind this just being the transition point for getting off of diesel. Work generates a random seed that updog requires to interpret metadata. Wow, that's so simple. All right, so I think I will probably also create a pull request for the diesel stuff to fix this. Let's see. So hopefully that converts all of these into basically Rust code, and I'll be able to migrate away from these. I'm guessing that it's just going to wrap them in big blobs of just, they're going to be giant strings, aren't they? So I sincerely doubt that diesel is doing anything extraordinary. It's not going to convert this to using the other sort of syntax, right? It's just going to have an up with a giant blob of SQL in it. Build failed. Oh my goodness. Oh, Mouse X. Um, so the one thing that, all right, take a couple steps back. There's a couple things that basically I want out of diesel that they don't have. I guess really one thing, asynchronous support, async support. And after having looked around, Tokyo Postgres has some nice features in it that I might want to take advantage of. Tokyo Postgres does not have migrations built in, so you have to use some other crate for that. Also, my server kind of test code. I want to be able to set up just random databases for, let's say, excuse me, not random databases, just I want to be able to set up databases for integration tests, have the integration tests be able to set them up and tear them down instead of having to tie the integration tests together with shell scripts. Now the problem is that I have 2 diesels in the cargo.log file. Okay. That's a silly way of doing it. With a single checksum, I see. They all appear to have the same version. When diesel drives, diesel migrations, those are different crates. All right, let's try that. I'll use Docker and Compose to build a Postgres test base. For me, I can't stand using Docker where I am because I don't have a fast internet connection, and it just takes me forever to make changes to Docker images, and if I want to upgrade something, everything just gets stale so fast. Oh, that's nice. Let's see how I pull the images. True. I'm not seeing anything messed up. Aw. Can I just remove the cargo lock and build it again? The check should do it, right? Basically everything should be done already. Oh. No lock file. What were you saying earlier, Museum? Does it build on master? Actually, why is this? Oh. Okay, good. Still the same thing for that. You're taking a look locally? Okay. All right. In this case, we have two versions of diesel being pulled in here. Not sure which is. All right. Let's keep going. So if we take a look at bottle more closely, it's going to be barrel. Let me toss the browser back on screen. So this is barrel. Schema migration builder lets you write your SQL migrations in Rust. Yay. Makes it as easy as possible for different databases, yada yada. Okay, now some of these looks fine. I'm wondering if they just have like raw SQL support that I can just toss in there right away. I could just migrate existing things there. I don't want to use diesel. Oh, they have a blog. What's on the blog? Their blog is that they have a blog. Cool. All right, let's go back to the repo. Actually, I want to see it in docs.rs. A little bit of white screen. Barrels. Barrel. Look at their migration struct. Specify database schema name for this migration. It looks like they have that. Create table if not exist, change table, job table, yada yada. Yeah. SQL runner, generic trait. I see, so I could just pull in all of those other files into Rust. Just run them directly. I think that's all that Diesel's doing anyways. The Diesel CLI stuff. Oh, what features am I using? Your cargo check worked? Oh yeah, barrel migrations. Sorry, I had a different window up. It clicked earlier. When you added barrel migrations, it failed. Interesting. Hmm. So does actually, if we go back to the browser and we go This barrel? No, that's not it. That's the wrong one. There it is. That's the problem? Barrel integrations, diesel migrations from. Let's see. All right. So got it. For the diesel stuff though, just saying give me a version between 1.2 and 2. Oh, but the feature flags are wrong, aren't they? To build its own version of diesel without its own feature flags. Well, this is kind of cyclic, isn't it? Yeah, oh, I was just looking at line 46 here. Because when Barrel builds diesel, it's going to have its own version of everything, and its feature flags will subtly change things. So if those feature flags aren't the same as the ones that we used in diesel, then things are not going to line up, right? We'll have two versions of that trait that we were seeing, or struct, whatever it was, of that type. It'll unify all the features. The greatest common subset. I see. Wow. Okay, that's I wasn't expecting that, but that's interesting. Good to know. So we're telling you that we want diesel and PG. So why isn't that working then? Why isn't it the greatest common subset when it's compiling these two things? Because it appears to be subtly different. Like we're using two different versions of that library of actually diesel. And migration's internal. Oh, they're using a path. They're using a patch of source override. I see. Ah, I get it now. I get it. Okay. Wow. That is subtle. I wouldn't have seen that. So what would be the correct way of doing this? What does a patch or source override look like for this? Oh, just check out Tokyo or Rust Analyzer. Yes. Actually, I'm not even sure what I'm looking for in there. Oh, they do the monorepo correctly. I see. So like Tokyo util probably uses some Tokyo things. Dependency is path. Oh, just our main cargo.toml file. It doesn't use patch anymore. That's too bad. Choose an older one. Oh, no, I just wanted that file. Oh, there it is. They're using the hack version. Let's see. Well, this has been interesting. It's been, I wasn't expecting to go down this at all today. So essentially, Tokyo is going to, excuse me, not Tokyo, but Diesel should be saying patch Diesel. Oh, I see. I'm starting to see it now. We have dependencies Diesel, path is there, but that's not actually trickling into all of the dependencies that this has, like barrel. Ah, okay. Yeah, basically the same thing as that. This would be diesel. There's a load source for dependency on diesel. Oh, because it's in a subdirectory. It's in diesel. Got it. Hey, Absolute Virtue 11. It's Japanese pop. I like that. I like the J-pop. Wow. Okay, so there's two things wrong. One is that they're not patching correctly, and the second is that the features aren't correct. It does take a lot of time. So that's it. That's then installed. Oh my goodness. So now, so I added the patch at the top and added PG here. It's just a patch at the top for crates IO override for diesel. Because then Barrel's going to use the same version of diesel that Diesel CLI was using, right? Oh, you were trying to fix the internal crate. Oh, interesting. Like, what is the correct way? Like, if I was to send them a PR for this, what would be the correct change? I mean, is it to do the patch like this? So that when you're building something internal, like the diesel CLI stuff, that if any of those would end up using the same version of diesel that you're using here, like I really like the patch override. That seems to make a lot of sense. First if is opinionated. Ah, I see. Interesting. Okay. But it's newer. I see. How much newer? Because they had that other with their Rust toolchain stuff here. They should be on 137. I see. 131 or so. Got it. I can see what they say. Let's clean up. Let's see. Got some other trash in here we should clean up. All right, I'm going to leave that. We have diesel CLI installed. One 4.0. Goody. All right. So now we can go back to, oh goodness, we were looking at barrel. Here, okay. Oh, what was the patch again? It's those two things. to the integration tests as well in order to just run them all for the tests. I guess one of the other options is to have the integration tests spawn some sort of shell script for themselves. Hadn't considered that. Which uses error train. Oh, which uses backtrace. Which won't compile in 137. Oh, interesting. So how are they building this? So if we look at migration, or barrel, high level, migration, which represents all changes and changes made on the database level, table and table type. Adding columns is then easy. Calling add column on the table, fine. Each column is statically typed. Since 030, it's required to provide a database backend. What I wonder here is if I did do one of these, can I run this over and over again? Oh, they don't test compile Windows because that's definitely a one API function. Checking backtrace. I see. Shoot. Well, sadly, I'm getting called into work early. I love the work, guys. Well, I need to go be the master bug slayer. We have a release coming up on very soon. I have to go fix something with somebody. Right. I would rather continue this out. All right, we'll pick this up. I will make an effort to be on and early tomorrow, because it looks like I'm going to need some time for this. So. Ooh, Lime Dye is coding again today. Let's rate him again. Thank you, Museum. We've gone through and learned a lot today. My goodness, we've learned a lot today. Let's see, we also learned patch. It's very, very helpful. Let's see. Oh, I technically never, quote unquote, go into the office. So I just need to get on a call with somebody and screen share. That's what I mean, really. Um, we're gonna go. Oh, we did that. We also learned about the dot comment stuff. All that. Sadly, I gotta go. I want to hang out longer, but I sense some frustration in one of the people I'm mentoring, so I'm gonna help them. But thank you all. It's been good. So we're gonna raid Lime Dye. I think they're doing Rust and building out their game. So until next time. Bye bye. Well, actually, we have a new little thing here. Guess we can raid in just a second now. All right. Take two. Bye bye.